Page 43, a tail. 4/4 time. It's got one sharp, so all the F's are sharp, and it's in a mode. I'm not an expert in that. Generally, you look at the last bit and see what it ends on. Well, it ends on a B major chord. It's not in B major. It's on a different mode. Okay, let's take it one hand at a time and get the notes and the fingering and all that worked out. I'm going to connect everything for now. So right hand, beat 4. 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Now they're saying thumb. I don't like that. I'm going to stay here and come up here. Because once I get to the B's, I got to do a 2-1 anyway. So I can hear on the 8th notes, 2, 3. And then a 2-1. There, I think that's much safer than the fingering they're suggesting. And anywhere else in here I get the same passage, I'm going to finger the same way. Let's go down to the 3rd line. Measure 8, you're here. Half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get 2 beats rest, blah, blah, blah. Left hand. Here to start. 1. Rest, that gives you time to come up here to a C and an E, and then a B and a D sharp. Try and connect them if you can and get them down at the same time. What I'm doing is I'm lowering the hand to play the notes, and then when I get ready to play the other notes, I raise the wrist, and as I bring the wrist down and bring in the weight down, I'm simply switching which fingers I want. So the fingers aren't pushing the notes down themselves, the weight's pushing them down, and which fingers are lower, those are what I use here to here. And then lift up and move down. So forth. The end of the line is treble clef, you're up here. And again, try and get them, connect them. Measure 12, 5 and 3 on the B and D sharp. It's alright, you're just coming from here to here. You're transferring weight over there, and as you do, the fingers are down. And then lift up and go on. At the end, the last 2 notes, it's 3-1, and you had this before. Put the hands together. So forth, and both hands, look, see where you got to go, both hands got to come down. Just going to lift up and move. So forth, measure 8, you're up here. And then you look back at where you were at the beginning here. And once you can get that, and you get rid of the hesitations and all at your speed, not mine. You go as slow as you gotta go. Then we add the slurs and the whatever the articulation is. We're connecting these. You see the tenuto mark on the first note there? Well, there's different ways of interpreting a tenuto. I don't want to get into it too much. I don't know how this particular composer intended them. Some people will treat that line as a bit of a stress. They'll put a little more effort. Not really an accent, just a stress. Most everyone agrees that you hang on, you linger on the note. I don't know what to tell you there. I'd give it a natural accent. The first beat of a measure gets a natural accent anyway. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just do that. Lift up. And at the end of the line, you hear connect these. They're slurred, so that's why you connect them. Then you lift it up and you do it again. Lift up. Lift up. Connect. To lift up, connect, lift up. This is connected. That's what it is. The G is actually part of the lower part and the melody. So it serves two purposes. If you had two different people playing or singing these notes, they'd both be doing the G at the same time. And again, you got that tenuto in the right hand. You might get a little extra and then lift them. Don't really know what to do with that tenuto. Hang on to it. I mean, the left hand doesn't have anything. What do? Well, that tells me he meant that to be a little more stress. And then lift up. You have a rollantando there. You're going to slow down here and you hang on to that fermata. When I do this with a metronome, I'll just double it and hold it for 6 counts instead of 3, and then you lift up and go on like you were at the beginning, and you have an off tempo. However, look out, the off tempo isn't on the pickup beat, so you don't just take off. A lot of times in music, it's part of interpreting the music. When you get a retardando or a rollantando, or you're slowing down, and then they give you an off tempo to go back where you were at the tempo you were at originally before you slowed down, you don't immediately take off. You speed up and go, but you do it rather quickly. You don't take, I mean, slowing down, you can take your time slowing down. But then when I take off again, the first note will be a little slower, and then I take off. If they wanted the off tempo to be immediately, they could have put it under the quarter note. Maybe they didn't put it under the quarter note because the publisher just put it in the wrong place. They do that sometimes. We don't know. But I'm suggesting to you at the bottom, after you've played that fermata and you've slowed down, the pickup note is still a little slow. Then you take off. And you have another rollantando at the end. Here. Or you can slow down again. And I'll hold that fermata 6 counts instead of 3 because I'm going to do this with a metronome. However, I can't slow down with the metronome. Then we add the dynamics. Well, moderately loud. I'm assuming this is the right hand, although the left hand, it's like a counter melody, so maybe they're both moderately loud. You crescendo up to loud. Now you're moderately loud. Again. Crescendo again to loud. Now you're going to stay loud. Now come back down. Moderately loud is fine. And then stay at moderately loud. There. Then speed-wise. Well, moderato's in the middle somewhere. You'll have to figure it out. Where is this? Where does it feel? Where does these quarter note? Fast or slow. I like to play it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'll give us 3 counts. Not going to do the dynamics, but let's try it together and make sure we have the notes and rhythms correct. I will do the slurring and that kind of stuff. 1, ready, go. And 2 and 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, hold, 2, go on. And 2, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, off.